10 halfway through the year. It's been really solid. And they're looking in pretty good shape going into the finals. Obviously not going to finish in the top 4, which is a challenge.
Umpires tonight, Ryan, Meredith and Jeffrey. Friday night football under cloudy skies, but it's not too cold. And a very good opening bounce to Cox. Fingertips to it. Ball. Prittis takes him down. Still inside the centre circles, holding the footy. So Prittis, fittingly. Game 150. First touch. Feeds it off. Marsden. Back in the team, comes out wide. Selwood back on the ground. 60 metres out, looks inside, flicks it away. Wellingham goes down the line. Very good last week, one of the few. Obliging bounce down there for Darling, gave it off in all sorts of trouble. Kennedy, he was taken down by Brown. And the umpire this time says he'll throw it up.
It's good first up hands there from Darling. That was clean.
Just one goal, Kennedy, in the last 2 weeks, so he's just dried up a bit. He's had a great year. He's right there in the Coleman. So's Cloak, by the way. Ball just kicks hard, and Butler takes the mark. One of the few premiership players left in this West Coast team. Smith, that's an awkward looking kick, but it actually got a bit of coverage. But Brown, so the Twins are playing tonight at either end, and Brown takes the mark. This one taken at 10 in the draft, and the Eagle taken at 16. Pendlebury, Keefe just had it cut off by Rosa back on the team. Hill, little gift to Rosa, okay, and then Rosa measures it, and Kennedy was quick off the mark on Brown and took a good chest mark.
I mean, it's a contest that Brown's been a little bit shaky of form lately as he has a shot.
And runs around and misses.
And he's been a pretty good defender, I reckon, a very good defender, Nathan Brown, but hasn't had a great last month, and Kennedy's about as good a harder matchup as you're going to get these days.
Josh Kennedy goalless last week. Grew up barracking for the Magpies. Shaw close to the boundary line. Almost straddling the line there. Maxwell takes the mark. And his own defensive 50. Looking for the switch, nothing on. Comes down the line then, high ball. Right at the wing, Cloak in front, fisted away by Brown. That's Brown of the Eagles, and the ball goes out of bounds. Mitchell Brown in the air, third man up.
Looking forward to the matchup down the other end there. Eric McKenzie on Travis Cloak. McKenzie's had a great year, I think. Only had 3 goals kicked on him on one occasion, 18 for the season. That puts him in the top bracket of key defenders.
Cox getting a free kick.
Challenge for Brody Grundy, not this game against Cox, who's a 6-time All-Australian, so it'll be tough for the young guy.
Which is a poor handball to Wilson, and Blair got him.
They got Andrew Gaff started on the bench, came on, and McCaffrey went straight to him. So he's got the tag, as he has had most of the season.
So kick out wide, and Grundy a bit slow to move. They've been managing it back with Grundy all year, actually.
Yeah. I mean, he's a very impressive young ruckman, but Dean Cox, and just even in this early part of the game, it looked like Cox has got control of his body in these ruck contests.
So third man up that time to help out Schofield. Marston and Sidebottom. Just running over it was Cripps. Well done, Sidebottom. O'Brien, Pendlebury did it well to Dwyer. Dwyer, neat looking kick, just too tall in the end for Cloak. Well played by Brown. Marston down low, cut off by Ball. Hacking forward. Lynch would love a goal against the old team. McKenzie did it pretty well. Blair gets down low. Back to Lynch. Can he hook it back and get that goal? You betcha. Well, there you go. Bit of romance and all of that.
See Ben Reid on picture there. He's also started forward. So Reid, Cloak, Lynch going up against the West Coast defenders, and just on a 2-on-1 occasion there, Lynch using his work rate to push in, provide some support, and ultimately getting up on the end of it. So good start for Quinton.
To talk about, isn't it, can they play the two ruckman, Jolly and Grundy? And I think that agility, Lynch is still more agile at ground level, I think, than the two specialist ruckmen that Collingwood have in their list.
Quinton Lynch, 281 career goals for the West Coast Eagles. That hurt them. Magpies up by 5, early going on a Friday night. Cox and Grundy, who was so impressive last week. Grundy went it down that time. Thomas deflected it, only as far as Prittis, went to Selwood. Thomas does well, breaks away, kicks inside the forward 50. Cloak edged under the football. First back is Reid with soccer. Didn't get the best of it. It spills away towards the boundary, and it will be a boundary throw-in. Didn't quite align himself that time. Grundy staying off Cox, at least initially. as they're required to do, but Cox's strength standing him in good stead. Pendlebury, bit of a fumble close to the boundary line. Cripps hard against that line outside the 50, and the mark is taken by Golsap.
So just too far out for him. He had a bit of a messy night last week with a couple of turnovers. That's not a great kick either touch. Cripps back to Rosa, back to Priddis. What a fine player in his milestone game tonight. Rosa involved as they ran it out. Butler and back to Cripps, getting a bit of it early. An ex-teammate of Joey Montagne's. And then Hill off that step. Darling in a good spot. Well done, Shaw at the back. Did he drag him down? Apparently not. Shaw was first up, didn't quite get it. Now May did well. Shaw cut off though by Hill. That was clever enough. Good. No, too high. Against Golsap. So Darling to centre it.
Willingham plays on immediately, 75 metres out from goal. Just grabbed as he kicked, and Keith, the beneficiary, comes across the ground, pushing up his Swan just outside the defensive 50. On the move is Dwyer, goes in that direction. Dwyer's got it now, plays on immediately again. Plenty of urgency about this Collingwood side at the moment. Down towards half forward. Cloak came strongly. Side bottom sweeping hand pass. Seedsman in for Beams. This could run on. Watch it bounce. It's through. He's got a strong boot. Well, all about moving it quickly, and they did that out of defence. And Dwyer on the wing, setting it up really, wasting no time. Seedsman sizing up the options and bouncing it through. Collingwood by 11.
See the Seedsman's goal here. We've got Joey Montagna in the box. Midfield matchups, Joey.
Yeah, it doesn't look like West Coast have any run with. So I was watching Scott Selwood closely, but he's mixed it up between Pendlebury and Swan so far. So it looks like Collingwood's midfielders might get a bit of a free rein.
And the Cats kicked the first 5 goals against the Eagles in 13 minutes last week, so they better watch that clock. Thomas, Seedsman again, inside 50.
In the man! Reid, free kick! Early hold to Ben Reid.
So up the ground to Ben Reid, so Reid, who was pushed forward that fateful night against Carlton, we kicked 4 goals. He'd been swung a couple of times before that, but he's really settled since then. When we first saw him, he never missed, Dennis, but his batting average is 61% from set shots, so he's not completely foolproof, but from what we've seen, he'll kick the goal. And he does, and they've kicked 3 in 7.5 minutes. They're on Geelong pace. There's not much resistance right now, is there? I mean, it's just it's like it's a wave.
Yeah, going forward and finding, well, that was his free kick, obviously, but they're certainly moving the ball quickly and got plenty of overlap through the middle of the ground, so they're attacking their forward 50 quickly.
So a disastrous start for the underdog here. I mean, this is just what you don't want when you're away from home at the MCG on a Friday night.
Just see the hold there of Brown on Reid, ever so slight, but there.
He's a lucky talisman too, has Ben Reid. Every time he's kicked a goal this season in a Collingwood game, they've won. Hasn't kicked a lot out of the middle. Selwood bounces it inside the forward 50. Golsap, that was clever, party trick. He comes out towards the wing, leading back is Gaff. Tracks it towards the gates, the interchange gates, and the boundary. Has to come back eventually. Wants it out, flicks it across. That was stealth.
He's got an interesting career ahead, Andrew Gaff, because he's such a good runner and carrier in space. He's the one who's getting tagged in the Eagles lineup, and I guess he's been successfully tagged fairly often, so it's going to happen a lot in the future.
Nice set over the top, won it down. Cripps trying to trap it. Spills behind. Grundy. Well played. Swan. Now Kennedy outside the 50. Kick is en route down towards full forward. Could have almost been a free to Reid. Who got their boot to it? I think Reid. Technology. We were talking about it only a few minutes ago.
He's all clear for a goal. Please check that. Thanks, Neil.
So, Lee, you're about to see the zooming in you were talking about, I think.
So, yeah, well, we're all about to see this for the first time.
Let's have a look. Which one are they looking at? So, isolating, well, there's still 5 opportunities. The one in the top bottom left's the one, I reckon, don't you?
Yep.
Rolls up his boot, looks a goal, doesn't it?
Yep.
So
Top left as well.
Yep.
So pretty good shot there of it. Let's see this one. That's our angle, by the way.
Extra views are good, I think.
Yep.
As long as you've got 5 eyes. It's very hard to watch 5 screens at the one time, isn't it?
So goal given.
Seemed clear, it didn't. The footage looked.
It's good.
Looked clear, yeah.
But Dennis, we were told it'd be a lot quicker. I think it could be potentially slower after that. But anyway, we're working on it, aren't we?
More screens.
No. Joey, what did you think about it all?
Oh, look, I think that was good. But Tice wanted to ask Tom about down the other end, Collingwood's defence. It's interesting that they've got Goldsack and Maxwell down there, who you'd class as their third tools, yet they're deciding to play Heath Shaw on Jack Darling. What are your thoughts there?
Well, I think even Nathan Buckley's insight was fascinating. There's been a lot of talk around Heath Shaw playing deep and perhaps not providing the same run, but they're quite comfortable with him back there. Goldsack and Maxwell can probably roll tall and small. Keith's been the one for them that's consolidated their defence with Reid going forward.
Lynch down the ball, feeds it back. Williams had it socket away. Selwood advancing the ball for the West Coast Eagles. Goldsack, ball. Pendlebury on the wing. Uncharacteristic fumble. Sliding in ball did brilliantly to Blair. Lynch, sweeping hand pass. He wants his left side as Williams. Back to Lynch. Lovely stuff. Thomas down towards half forward. Running back with a flight. Butler coming up as Brown. Keeps it in front. Showed courage. This will be an interesting call. Oh, high is the call. But he certainly went low on the legs there. Gaff's got the football. Brings it out wide. Got to say, just for the moment, the Eagles not playing like a side who can become the first side to
I think the difference
make
in
the
this
nine.
is Dennis, he's gone down for the footy as opposed to sliding momentum. That's the way I would have seen that, and I think that's the way the umpire saw it.
So you agree with the decision, Lee?
Well, I think so. As I say, I don't think he slid forward into the footy. He fell onto the footy. And I know it's slightly different, but it's big in effect.
So Heath Shaw's off. Joey, you might get your call on in a moment. So Shaw running hard, kicking forward, good kick. Mark taken by Cloak. Such a long kick, Coke, but that's a little bit quick and I was going to say half shabby, but it's worked for side bottom to Thomas. And what did we say? I think Josh told us 5 goals in 13 minutes. Geelong kicked against West Coast. Well, have a look at the clock there. And Collingwood are about to get their 5th.
Yeah, this is not good signs for West Coast. Collingwood midfielders are running free forward of the ball, over the place at the moment. It's West Coast will need to do something about that.
Yeah, disappointing passage of play with the Darling one on the wing and also Blaine Wilson not manning the mark aggressively enough.
So Thomas to kick a 5th goal. And does. So Collingwood have kicked 5 in 13 minutes. This is just such a different team to last year, West Coast. I mean, it's just remarkable what can happen in a season, isn't it? I mean, there's just no pressure, is there? I mean, this is just...
Last year, really the benchmark of the Eagles team is they were really good in the centre square. They got the ball forward and they locked the ball in their forward line.
Yep.
But at the moment, they're not locking in at all and they're not winning the centre square either. Look at this one. Question is that a slide or just a fall in on the footy, Joey? Yeah, you see it.
You're on the rules committee, Lee. I don't know.
No, but I'm not an umpire.
Selwood to Prentice inside the forward 50, up the ground, missing the mark though. Kennedy lies set under pressure, vacant goal square, getting back his Goldsack and he scuttles across the line.
It's interesting that you talk about the forward pressure. Well, Kennedy and Darling have actually ranked in the top 5 for pressure acts, so it's more the mid-sized small forwards for West Coast not keeping it in there.
Ball to the wing. Front of the pack, Selwood now. McGinnity, Marston, Prentice. Couldn't beat Williams. That was a strong effort to get him down. Blair, close quarters to Dwyer. That run again. Pendlebury. Blair widens things. O'Brien sells the dummy. Looks up. Does he kick another one? No, wide of the mark. Well wide. And it slides across the boundary line. Williams involved. Terrific effort. Playing the tackle for the Claremont player. And O'Brien. They get their half-backs from Claremont. Finishing the move. And, of course, Tuvey from Claremont as well.
Unfortunately for the Pies is out for the season. He's such an important player. So Cox Actually, Claremont, big team in Western Australia, don't like all those guys together in the waffle den.
Good defence, Bruce.
Never get past them, would you? So Shepherd's kick, Shaw, Maxwell, just a tiny fumble. Marston getting it from Hill, kicking to Lai, set, good mark, paid. It was a good kick actually, and Seedsman just the shorter player. Well, we saw Lycett in his opening game this year, the first game that he played, and he was good at Etihad Stadium that day. He's been a slow burner, as a lot of big guys are.
Got a good matchup for 200-centimetre bloke against a more medium-sized Win Seedsman when the ball's high in the air.
Played one game in 2011, two in 2012. He's taken 29th in the draft, so a mid-range draft pick. It's his 6th game this year, so he's 9th in his career, and he gets a goal. And boy, did they need it. So hard to be a ruckman if you're not Natanui and Cox at West Coast, obviously, in the last couple of years, but he's got his chance with Natanui's injury.
Say, Tom, and when you're sort of playing team defence and you're covering for each other, every now and again you get an unusual matchup for size and shape, and I guess Seedsman just happened to be in that situation then.
It's an interesting insight into the matchups for the Collingwood back half, I think. And we look at this one here. Seedsman obviously outsized by Lycett, and Joey touched on Heath Shaw playing deep. What it says to me is that Collingwood prefer to have Maxwell and Goldsack up. So if you're an opposition club, you're thinking to drag Maxwell back and Goldsack back as quickly as possible.
Shepherd falling to the ground. Now Rosa. Out wide, this is Wilson. Forward to the wing. High ball inside the forward 50. Kennedy. It's smacked away by Brown. Ball goes out of bounds. Just talking about Scott Lycett. Born to be an Eagle, he was born on September 26, 1992, the day the Eagles won their first ever premiership.
You're probably going to tell me his mother was here, and he was actually here, Dennis.
My research doesn't run that deep. Ball from the defensive 50, high one towards the wing. Clark juggles the mark.
You're going to be hard pressed to support someone else, aren't you, with those stats, Den?
I think so. Thomas, side bottom, ran into a dead end. Brown is hurt, though he's on the ground, slow to get up. He's that high. Rosa battles on. Side bottom has got him in the leg lock, if you don't mind, the leg scissors. I recognise that.
This was terrific by Brown here. Collingwood were away again. You saw side bottom and Thomas fall to the football, but Brown stopped a certain opportunity for a goal there.
So picking himself up, Keith banging back, and Wellingham, who's going to get booed, you think, for most of the night. She's been good in the last few weeks, Wellingham. Premiership player at Collingwood. Lynch, of course, a premiership player at West Coast. So off that step, Wellingham to centre wing. Worked underneath. It was Shepherd in the front. Brown. Well done there by Wilson. Just getting a tap in. Seedsman held up well. To Swan. To Grundy. Good move by Grundy. Neat kick. Brown, good recovery, but poor handball. Side bottom, little deft kicks of beauty. And, well, the cue stick could go again here.
I was going to say, it's interesting talking about the Jolly, Grundy, Quinton Lynch combination. What we've seen enough, obviously last week was a terrific game for Grundy, but his work between the centre and half forward is really natural. He's got good, clean hands. He uses the ball well, so he's certainly more than just a bullocking ruckman.
Richo, the gloves off. We just want confirmation, so you know. So he kicked 65 goals in their premiership. Now, Kennedy's on 60 this year, so bang, he's kicked 2 in the opening term. It's a sweet night for Quinton. So
it must be the fact, that he's got Eagles jumpers in the vicinity. Because he kicked the ball like he used to kick it at the Eagles.
Lee, I thought you were a pragmatic guy that do it in fact.
I'm just trying to think of why, because all year he's been a really powerful kick who's been making terrible contact. That is the best kick I've seen him do in a Collingwood jumper.
I was going to say it's the most sense you've made all year, but you might look at me and give me that look.
Makes perfect sense to me.
He looks on song tonight, Richo, doesn't he?
Yeah, that was a nice kick, and it's because the glove came off. He could feel the ball a lot better, and that's the key to it, I think, Bruce.
Yeah, we say it on cue. There's the bounce back in the middle. Hooked down by Cox. Critters. Have it to Cripps. Miscued there, though. And coming away with it now from Dwyer to Swan to Thomas. Back from Lynch, he's feeling it. Swan goes with the left boot down towards the forward pocket. Bounces just inside the line, then goes out. So a boundary throw in, about 35 metres around from the behind post. And Cox is doing well on Grundy at the moment. Grundy a star last Friday night. The experience of Cox lurking behind initially. Now they lock up. Comes to the front of the pack. Rosa in trouble. Hand passes towards the boundary and out it goes. Dean Cox coming towards the end of his stellar career. One of the all-time greats. And speaking about all-time greats, there's a couple as well. In terms of the best Eagles, up there with Glenn Jakovich, Chris Mainwaring, Peter Matera, Chris Judd, Ben Cousins, Don Henley. Hand pass comes across from Swan. The hand pass from O'Brien in hope. Down goes Blair. Strong tackle got him down. Pendlebury picks it up. Immediately gang tackle. And as you can see, the ball is not coming out.
Let's have a look at this ruck contest, because even though they had to start apart, Cox will try and get his body against Grundy as soon as he can. And Grundy will try and get clear. So it's an interesting tactical duel between those two.
Marston roved it well. G. Brown, just a little shove. Kennedy free kick.
Push out. 2 actions, push.
They've got a really good structure going at the moment. Collingwood, they're only conceding 43 inside 50s a week. Only 7 so far for the Eagles tonight.
So Kennedy started it all by getting the free kick, and that's a shabby kick. Sure. And now they set up out wide. It's the guy who you always feel like you're pronouncing his first name wrongly, don't you? Keith. Darling. Strong man, Darling. G did well. Gets it to his captain in glass. Kicks to the top of the square. Collingwood with the numbers. He'll add a big fly. Williams. No one down for West Coast. And Williams, well done to Thomas. Josh Thomas has been impressive. Maybe just there and then, but you know what I mean.
You said was, not is.
No, you know what I mean. He's done a good job.
No, he's been good.
And Williams has been terrific too. Hasn't missed a game since making his debut back in round 13. Nice set. Reaches over the top. Grundy did best though. Butters up again. Grundy fell at his feet. Reaching in is Priddis. Cripps comes over the top, and the umpire calls for it. So we'll have a throw up right on the 50. Along the line just to their left, a number as distinct from normally the numbers, as I say. The 5 has gone away. Wiping off 5 tonight. That's a good idea. Umpire lets them play. Grundy's got it now. Butler was waiting, so too Priddis.
First time Collingwood's kicked 6 goals in an opening term this year with some time on the clock. Priddis searching. Cripps high. So ball and Cripps, eh? Marston. Bit of Saints about all of that. Now Blair busy. Thomas back to ball, and then ball. That's a good kick. Getting it to Cloak. Protected the footy well. So Cloak now. O'Brien charge into the goal square. And Cloak now deciding to go as far as he can. Now Harry's back there. Well, he went very, very, very early and didn't give a free kick away, so that was realistic. Here he is, Harry, out wide. Ben Reid, and he's just missed. He's kicked a couple of first quarter goals. So there was him. They wouldn't have been together at the Saints at the same time, would they, Joey, or would they?
No, they would have crossed paths. They would have just missed each other.
They crossed paths there as well, eh?
Margin is 30 points then, approaching quarter time on this Friday night. Schofield to himself and pulls it back towards the corridor, and Butler thought about going back to Schofield. He was being pursued. Play on's the call now, so Butler goes for distance towards the outer side. Darling's in front. Shaw does well. Just the one possession last week for Heath Shaw in the first half, but tonight back in business, playing with confidence. A boundary throw in down towards left half forward for the Magpies, who certainly have done the bulk of the attacking. Lynch doing the rucking here. 2 goals already alongside his name. Wide of the pack, Rosa a chance at close quarters to Selwood. Goes looking for Priddis. That was quality. Priddis and again. Beat a couple. Lysette from his step bounces it beyond the wing. Josh Kennedy took a swipe at it. Now Wellingham is through, running down towards half forward. The kick not so flash. Out in front of Darling, pursuing him is Shaw. The fumble will do Darling in. Down he goes. Out of it goes Hill. Back comes Shaw, tries to give it across to Goldsack. Hill played it well. Marsden quick hand, Selwood in trouble. Selwood goes again, heard the voice. Head down over the football was Gaff, picking it up Dwyer. And now the moment has passed for the Eagles. Keith to Thomas, run down from behind by Butler. Crashing the pack is Pendlebury. Pendlebury to Kennedy, still the pressure, well done by the Eagles, but eventually Collingwood break the shackles. Keith into the path of Swan. Rosa trying to go with him. Swan's kick. Oh, what a goal. How about that? Quality at both ends of the ground. The Eagles and then the Magpies.
Great call, Dennis, from back pocket to goals. Swanee, it wasn't a great drop, but you always felt it was going to go through, didn't you?
No, he's not a long strider, but he takes quick steps, so it's really summoned some acceleration speed.
And the ball went from half-back, and Swan ran from half-back. He sprinted 60 metres to get on the end of that handball, and he just had enough left in him to kick the goal.
Terrific kick. I mean, he's basically done it off balance without a correct ball dropping in about 2 steps. That was outstanding.
This reminded me a bit of what they did against Sydney a couple of weeks ago, where they transitioned the ball from one end to the other.
And just that ability to stabilise himself that last minute in the final step and get the ball dropped close enough was just brilliant.
Wellingham tried to kick it off the ground. Tell you one thing that's happened to the Eagles in this opening turn. I reckon they've had 5 handballs turned over that they've given up to the Pies. Well done, Blair. To Kennedy, who's a natural left footer, and he sizes it up and just misses. Hey, Richo, you've had your eye on Gaff in the opening turn. What are you going to tell us?
He is the team target for the Eagles tonight. He's being tagged, obviously, by McCaffer, but every other Collingwood player, if they get a chance, they bump into him. He was on the bench. As soon as he came back on, Goldsack got into him. He's the target.
Critters again, clever hands. Selwood comes away, chip outside the 50. Keith tries to punch it back in. McCaffer in trouble. Maxwell played it pretty well. Ball, always the man hanging off the pack for the Magpies. Kick goes long from Seedsman. Must be a free kick to the Eagles. Man in front will win it. Clark pleading his case. Nathan Buckley is pensive. How much doubting that I wouldn't have thought. Eric McKenzie, almost an innocent bystander as the ball goes towards the outer side. Lynch again. His appetite has been large in this opening term. Boundary throw in.
Have a listen to the Collingwood fans. They were 3 metres from that behind the goals, but no, they won't have a piece of it.
I'm glad they're not doing the score review system tonight, Richo. Good battle, isn't it? You talked about it, Tom. Mackenzie's big and strong against a big and strong cloak, eh? Looking forward to seeing how that plays out through the night. Brown. Shaw's looked sharp, I reckon, don't you? A running bounce. This is what he does so well. Runs and carries and finds you know who. I know.
Well, 50
it's 50 against Mackenzie.
Nice when your kick is not as consistent as you'd like it to be to get your first shot at goal from the goal square.
I was going to say, Lee, he's lessened his chance of kicking a goal because Cloak's better from 50 than he is from here. But
I'll back him from here.
The goal line's a nice spot.
Tom, you've always liked sure things. He's had 24 more scoring shots than Kennedy this year, Cloak, but he's kicked 2 less goals. So we know that well, there you go, he's got it. And they're up to 8 goals in the opening term.
You really do as a defender, and nights like this that the West Coast are enduring at the moment. It's just a weight of numbers, and on that occasion, not much Eric McKenzie could have done about that. But when you see the wave of Collingwood players come down, there's nowhere to hide. The kick's good. Good luck.
And I know Joey wanted to talk about Heath Shaw before the match, so we might get you to make a comment on him in a second, Joey.
Yeah, Heath Shaw's start's been really promising because they're not trying to free him up. He's actually defending and he's playing on Darling, but he's still at the right times winning his ball and running and using it. So if he can continue to do that, that's going to be great for Collingwood.
Back in the middle. Lysette taps it down. Ball under pressure. Gets Boots a ball. Punched out of there by Schofield. Selwood trying hard to Lysette. That's better. Across to Cripps. Lost his footing. The hand pass in hope. Blair, Seedsman. Now Maxwell and Collingwood run again. Thomas. Likely type over the top. Lynch feeds it back to Thomas. Looks inside the forward 50. Wide of the mark again. Brown tracks it across and it bounces through for a behind.
Gee, Bruce, you said it earlier, but Thomas's start, his first quarter's been electrifying. He's running on top of the ground. He's looking really good early.
Interesting situation,
hasn't he?
Yeah, interesting situation this game too for John Worsfold, who has indicated he wants to coach again. He's talking about 2 years. Well, the biggest loss of the season last week, and they're in trouble here. This is not good for him. Obviously 3 years, which he hasn't talked about, would seem a little reckless by the club. One would be an insult, so they need a big finish, and certainly it hasn't started tonight so far.
Well, this is the biggest first quarter score Collingwood's ever had against West Coast. Lee, the previous biggest was actually when you coached them in the 1990 qualifying replay. You kicked 8-1 in the opening term. So biggest score ever in an opening term against the Eagles by the Pies. So it's a damning first term, isn't it?
It's interesting, the John Worsfold situation, Dennis. I mean, the logic, in fact, is to extend the contract by a year. But that's the problem. It seemed like an insult.
That's right.
Yeah.
To a favourite side.
Yeah, you will just keep rolling it on. You don't have to be sort of going years in advance, really.
The thing about it, too, is it can quickly become a one leg.
Yes.
Not that expensive.
Well done by Dwyer. Ball. Had it robbed of him, firstly by Darling. Wellingham held on to. No free kick. Lycett, Marston. Gee, their handballs have just been shoddy in this opening term, and Selwa gets a free kick. So, Dennis, is it a done deal over there? I mean, there's an injury to Wellingham.
So.
So, John will be coaching next year?
If he wants it, I think. Yeah, sure.
Out wide, mark taken by Darling. So Darling with that careful kick to Schofield. So Wellingham just battered a bit here. Must always be hard to play against the old team, I reckon.
Not for Quinton Lynch. He's joined tonight, Bruce.
Yeah, that's true.
Best quarter we've played for a long time, I reckon.
Marston.
It's really proppy Wellingham, doesn't he?
Oh.
Yeah.
50-metre penalty to West Coast.
Gaff.
So there you go, Richard. That was the gaff one.
Off the ball. Chris, your kick.
There's no doubt he's been targeted all night, and he's got a free kick as a reward here, Andrew Gaff, but Collingwood are into him at every opportunity. It's going to be a tough night.
Chris has got the
So here's a Wellingham injury.
They've obviously got a list at Collingwood. Last week it was Sam Mitchell.
It's good team defence. I think you go in with a team plan to nullify a key ball mover.
So does Marston get the second goal for the Eagles in the opening term? He gets it home. So they get their second, but they're a long, long way back. So Gaff was slung, of course, when that Marston had the ball, and therefore the 50 put him in a scoring position back in the team tonight. Had a good year. He's had a lot of the ball this year. Bit of a breakthrough year for a high draft pick.
Yeah, you just let us deal with it, though, okay?
So Cox speaking up, I think, for Gaff there.
Selwood held by the arm. Scott Selwood, free kick. No, sorry, Scott
Selwood getting a free kick. That was a secondary bounce that wasn't bounced by the umpire that we came back to there. So this occurred. Oh, it's going against Selwood. Pendlebury taking the footy. Confusion reigns. Kicks inside the forward 50. Off hands at the back. A chance for 3 Eagles. Eventually, McGinnity emerges with it. He was helped by McKenzie. McGinnity comes across the ground, getting the follow-up hand pass. Clever use of the body by Goldsack. Needs to knock it across to a teammate. Didn't. Now he's got a problem. He dragged it in. The umpire is circling, and that's holding the footy. Well, that's good umpiring, really. Had the chance to knock it across to a mate just 2 metres away. Quarter time anyway. It matters not. Collingwood terrific in the opening term. He'd be delighted. So sharp, so crisp. Him as well. 8-3 to 2-2 on Friday Night Football. Saw those figures earlier. But at the bottom end, some players not contributing. There's Gaff wearing a number of the Eagles that almost comes with a bullseye. And some famous number 3s. Second term about to begin then. And the Eagles with some work to do. I think Cox won it down. There's that number 3 again. Gaff upended. Wide of the pack, it's Williams. Fumbles. Marston, his 13th possession, maybe his 14th if you count both of those. Trying to kick it forward was Cripps. Taken away by Williams again. Socks it. Came off his sock. It rolls out towards the wing like a silencer. Side bottom. Got it from Pendlebury. Hand pass came across from Ball. Pendlebury goes down towards left half forward. And that's a good grab. Just plucked at the hand solidly onto the football. And it didn't move.
Terrific mark. Good kick by Pendlebury as well, who was under pressure. And then Cloak to the hot spot. Where's Reid? Well, there's Reid.
Wasn't flagging out like that.
So that was high, no free.
I missed that. Yeah, the umpire missed that one.
Cloak's mark was a beauty, and there's a handful of jumper, isn't there?
A handful of jumper is the real key for an umpire, and as soon as they see that, it's an easy call.
So Reid missed out last week, didn't get a goal, but Dennis talked about the fact when he goals, they win, and now he's had a really profitable forward second half of the season and kicks his third. So some patching up on Shepherd, I think there. We talked a lot about Reid last week. You know, do you leave him forward, take him back? I mean, when it's happening like this, you can just see the benefit of Cloak and Reid on the forward line, can't you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And Keith and Brown are holding up the two big tools at the other end, and they've got to use Maxwell as a goal sack as the third tall. They might be a little bit short on some of the matches. He's short for that matter. They look much more dangerous when Reid's forward.
Well, Sharad Wellingham has just come up from the medical room. He was down there obviously at quarter time. He's testing out. We reckon it's his ankle. He's obviously had concerns with that and that trampoline accident in the pre-season, and let's hope he hasn't re-hurt it here tonight.
Margin 43 points. O'Brien lays it off. Ball doing well in that centre square. Swan stripped of it. Hill hand passes beyond the wing. Crittles goes to ground. Quality against him. Stolen away by Ball. On the assist there was Swan. Selwood does well. Crittles emerges with the footy. Umpire wants it. Good to see Alan Didak back. Crittles again clever. Boots a ball under real pressure. Back goes Williams. Coming up, the taller man got it. Lysette to Rosa. Picks it down towards full forward. Neither player did very much there. Seedsman did, though. Arrived quickly and feeds it off to Shaw.
Shaw just waits for Seedsman to get into the right spot. So Seedsman, the late incomer tonight for Beams, kicked a goal in the opening term. Blair, you don't know why that wasn't cut off by the Eagles. Smith had a chance to cut that off and he didn't do it. And now Kennedy's away, lines it up, but he gets it smothered. Glass should get a free kick. And Glass unhappy with Kennedy, and he's going to try and smother him, I think. And the mark taken by Selwood. Well, gee, Glass's reaction's interesting here.
I was going to say, often we look at the reaction with those sorts of things, and he's not a...
Gee, that's quite strange, isn't it? He has absolutely tried to smother that young fella, and he was annoyed at what he did to him, but it went on for a while. They picked themselves up. He said, we know how strong Glass is, but Lysette, poor kick, misses Kennedy, Brown and Kennedy. Oh, Kennedy, that was clever, gets it to the top of the square. Chance for Hill. Can he work it? Couldn't quite. G. Williams is strong, isn't he? Well played.
Goal sack, close quarters to Keith. Runs it up. Here's Thomas. Thomas, the short one, outside the 50. Missed the target. McGinnity can send it back inside that 50. Towards the boundary, well wide, but Hill takes a clever mark. Now, I think Kennedy maybe thinks he's still got the footy, just hangs on for grim death, and obviously Glass thought it was half dirty.
That's a battle he's not going to win. Darren Glass, you don't wrestle him.
It was an aggressive reaction from Darren Glass for no apparent reason.
It's strange, wasn't it? So Hill, does he squeeze it home? Just misses.
Well, there's two things there. Either a veteran like Darren Glass doesn't like getting thrown around a little bit by a young fella, or he's actually just trying to lift his team a little bit, just trying to show something to actually get the boys back into it.
Could have been a misunderstanding too. I think Glass didn't have the footy. Kennedy thought he did, but Glass knew he didn't. Expecting a fight.
I think also Kennedy pinned his arms. It was a good tackle. And maybe it's just fearing for his safety there, because when your arms are pinned, there's not much you can do. But a bit of what Joey's saying, I think, flexing the muscles for the team.
So Thomas out wide, Schofield, Blair busy, Seedsman back towards Blair, Blair down low, Master good hands, Darling, neat kick, And Hill's been up and about a bit, I reckon, and takes the mark. He's had another solid year, Hill. He's a goal kicker. We know that ex-Western Bulldog. Can't really say ex-dog, do you, in case someone doesn't understand what you're saying, but 64 goals in 40 games as an Eagle, so that's a pretty good return for sort of the third, fourth forward. 28 so far this year. That's not his best. To the top of the square. Kennedy almost at the back. Good hands, and now Williams.
Likely Tigers Williams. Marley Williams gets it up towards the wing. Swan just doing what he has to do at the moment. Still has another gear or two. Ball has been very industrious. He's up to 14 possessions now.
Good to see him moving so well too. He looks free, looks fit.
It's been terrific in close in that centre square. Here's Williams again, flirting with the idea of going back. In fact, going all the way across. Brown. Running up the middle of the ground now. Brown has had one bounce, runs himself into trouble, backs off, goes to O'Brien, runs on. O'Brien realised he was still under the pump, Brown, so as a result kicks towards half forward. Awkward one for Pendlebury too, fell over. McCaffer left the ball behind. Well done by Kennedy. Got it across to Gaff to Selwood. Selwood in short to Cox. So Cox has got the football with Gaff free down the line. Rosa spots him now. Well, goes shorter still. Wellingham. He's got it the defensive side of the wing to Selwood. Made it interesting. Now Rosa lays it off to Priddis. Priddis 80 metres from goal to the pocket, and Darling is very adept at taking that mark, and now clatters into the fence, and I think maybe dressing it up a little bit.
That's probably the cleanest bit of footy we've seen from West Coast all night, to be honest. So before that little mishap, they were able to get it cleanly down the line. But the percentages from here are never too good. That's pretty good in the end. Well, that's a remarkable goal. Gee, what an interesting shot. I mean, it just kept curving back the right way. And Eagles from half-back with some clean football get a most unlikely goal in the end, don't they?
Well, I mean, it looked a reasonably good result for Heath Shaw initially. Pushed him as far wide as possible, and
what was Heath on about there? He wasn't too happy, Heath, was he?
Well, he and Nick Maxwell are having little constant sticks at each other.
So great kick. So the Magpie defence having a chat to one another, guys?
Well, we see that all the time, though. But it's fine. It's not bad. But Maxwell and Heath Shaw always kind of quite animated towards each other quite regularly.
I reckon Heath's saying, Nick, enough of this. You go back and play key back. Let me play across half-back.
So Butler out of the centre. Hill running on to it. There is Maxwell. That's what I can do, Heath. See? It's a good one. Now Goldsack. Running hard, wanting Cloak. And then getting at the back, McGinnity.
Confronted by Dwyer, who did very well. Smothers it, goes after it again. Schofield put under pressure. Leading back is Cloak. He's back Smith. No, umpire lets them play on. Blair, strong tackle, gets him down. I think it's McGinnity.
Ball's pinned, no
It
chance.
is. Loves it in close, does McGinnity. Have the ball up on the outer side, about 80 metres from Collingwood's attacking goal. They're going to the Punt Road end. Hooked down by Lynch, taken by Wellingham. Opportunity for Swan. Just accelerates out of the pack. Good Shepherd came from Blair. High ball to the pocket. Knocked to a dangerous area by Schofield, but had the wherewithal to go after the football and find it. The kick coming out wasn't flash. Seedsman confronted by Glass. Marston slips a hand pass away. Schofield into the path of Shepherd. Shepherd has to go back to find it. As a result, lost valuable momentum. The kick comes across towards Wilson from Marston, taken by Lynch.
And then Lynch off a step just blazes. And McGinnity was a difficult one. Butler's under pressure from Swan. Out of play. As Lysett is under
Maxwell here. Nick's also in a bit of pain with his right knee. It looks a cork knee, perhaps. There's a Shepherd there.
So Eagles under the pump. They're 6 goals behind. Schofield was sloppy a moment ago. Terrible kick and a terrible handball. And then Ball bouncing it towards goal. Now Marston. He's had so much of the ball. That one still bounces in. Seedsman's dangerous. We know that. Goes inboard. McCaffer squares it. Neat kick. Mark taken or free kick to ball. Ball Critters. What a matchup that is,
Yeah, I just mentioned before, but Ball is running on top of the ground. He's moving really well. He's up to 16 disposals, 9 contested, 3 clearances. He's been sensational so far.
And Joe, you know him better than us. This will be just about
This is too far for him.
Okay, too far. Well, commentators sometimes get shown up, Joey. We're about to find out, but we sort of think we're with you. Well, he's given it all he's got. And, the mark taken by Grundy.
Oh, that's a good sign for the young ruckman. You can go forward and take a mark. You've got the distances right with Luke. He's got it. That means you kick about 47 metres.
Yeah, 48 was his limit, and I think he might have
well,
49.
It doesn't help when they've taken the 5 away.
It's a good play at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, but your young ruckman goes forward, can take a contested mark deep forward.
Has he missed it? He has.
And the two things I've liked watching about him, one is how aggressive he is for such a young kid, but also his follow-up. That's what you really want to see from a ruckman, is your follow-up when the ball hits the ground. He does both of those things really well.
The thing I like, his height's in his body. Like, in other words, you want footballers that have shortest legs and longest body because you get better balance. And he's got a lot of height in the body, so therefore good balance at ground level.
Smith kicked it in. Selwood over the football. Jumps over Shepherd. A hot one back. Seedsman tries to go with the outside of the boot. Kennedy charged down by Darling. Smith nowhere to go. Glass had it momentarily. Lynch sends it back in. Marston off the ground. McCaffer. They buy some space now. Blair goes to side bottom, and he finds Cloak on the lead. Gee, that was good again in tight. Just the responsive hand pass, the instinctive stuff. McKenzie having a tough night against a big body, but it's coming down pretty well. That is well Collingwood's way, well delivered. Tough to be a defender. Cloak, it's working back. Not enough. Minor score. 59 plays 21 midway through the second term.
Speaking of 59, that's what Cloak's on for the season goals. That's what he kicked last year, and he's one behind the Coleman. His best ever season, 69. You look back to the premiership, he kicked 38. Playing a different role, wasn't he? More centre half forward, wasn't he? Playing closer to goal here, Gaff. So Gaff, we talked about the fact that he's going to be tagged for a lot of his career. Like another young West Australian, Stephen Hill for Fremantle. Has got similar, hasn't he, early in his career. It's a hard learning process. It got through Cox. Seedsman's been busy and then pushed off it, but it's okay to Grundy, who I reckon Lee Matthews would have bought if he'd seen him as a yearling. He just likes the body shape. Then Swan out wide, gets it to Williams, and then Williams going forward, creative, not panicking. Funny old kick, poor kick really. Selwood to cut off, good spin by Selwood. Back it goes, Butler, back to Smith, and then Smith off a step with a, well, just a nothing. Keefe, Swan. I'm with you, Dennis. I feel like Swan is just going to build and build and build and end up probably getting his 35. Brown, Swan, quick release, Williams.
How quick was that? Williams, Seedsman, 80 metres from goal. Cloak putting a hand in there. Well played, McKenzie in the back though against McKenzie. Well, that was pretty tough.
50 metres for a goose.
Becomes tougher by the metre. It's a free kick, I'm sure, but it came late. Just takes him down, and even then,
I'm not sure what else you can do, to be perfectly honest, in that situation. And
Tom, I don't think you can do anything.
No,
I mean, momentum means that it's going to carry you forward like that. And Trav would have got thousands if he got paid those every time.
I agree, Richard.
so Travis Cloak does a throw. That's his second.
And also interesting, McKenzie only made one statement to the umpire. It wasn't very animated. Now, I'm not. What do you think it was?
There were 3 words and one was probably not appropriate.
Okay, you're better lip reader than I am.
I'd like to play 250-metre shots going from the goal.
I mean, we're grown-ups out on the footy field. I mean, if you're going to pay 50-metre penny every time swear words used. I'm not sure.
So just 3 words, are you serious? But so look at the Collingwood middle and Lee, both Cloak's goals tonight from 50-metre penalties.
50-metre penalties from the goal line. So, yeah, instead of 50-metre lines, it's a certainty.
So 60 goals for the second time in his career, Cloak. A couple of years back. He managed that and got to 69. So Dwyer to Thomas. Here is Grundy off that step. Gives it a pretty good roost. And it's going through for a behind. Now, on Grundy, Lee, what did you say about him with his body?
No, I just think he's 200 centimetres in height, but see, he's got long torso, shortish legs, and that gives you better balance. That's what Wayne Carey had, such good balance for 195 centimetres.
Good stuff.
Peter Dacos was the same shape.
Selwood to Cripps on the lead. Kennedy couldn't hang on. Down goes Lynch holding the ball. Leon's the call. Critters gave it to Selwood to Wellingham. Williams has got it. Little pirouette if you don't mind. Came down, still managed to kick it down towards half forward. Smith, Lysette, Butler runs inside the centre square. Well, they had him surrounded. It was intended for Wellingham. It runs on to be picked up there by Maxwell. To Pendlebury, to O'Brien, to Ball. He was virtually flat-footed. They're putting on something at the clinic at the moment, the Magpies. Seedsman running it down towards half forward, looks up, short of the target. Awkward one for Cloak, showed a lot of courage to go after it. Seedsman has run on, feeds it to Pendlebury. Pendlebury right on the 50, hoists it very high, get under that. Tom Petty said it, the waiting is the hardest part. Rosa in the back pocket.
Showed a lot of guts, didn't he, Rosa? It was well done. Kennedy worked in front of Brown. Gaff back, Glass off a step. Darling takes the mark in front of Shaw. And can they move it quickly? They've got anyone to go to. Not, as you can see, because he's had to hold it up. Schofield, he's been getting forward a lot, hasn't he? Now he's half off there on Ball. Does he take Ball on here? Ball's a great tackler, but he might have leg speed for him, but he's corralled now. Well, there you go. There's the answer. He's taken Ball on, and it's not a good result. So he didn't do it all that well. Back to Brown. Back it goes to Rosa. Then Rosa decides to pump it hard and high. Kennedy, the flyer, belted away. Shepherd couldn't quite take it cleanly. Shaw wraps him up. Ball not quite out. O'Brien and Selwood are in there. And then Pendlebury gets a pick kick away towards the line. Rosa and high on him by Thomas, free kick.
Scott Selwood's been terrific, up to 16 possessions, hard-working possessions. There's Brown, long down towards full forward, reaching over the top. Maxwell, Kennedy arriving, slipped over. That was unlucky. He's 15 metres out from goal, trying to go back on his left side, and the umpire has decided to give him a break and throw it up about 15 metres out. Fair to say, not all Kennedys have been lucky.
There's Damien Harwick. He's off to Skoda on Sunday to play GWS with the Tigers. Chance they may play the Magpies in the first week of the finals. Not sure how that'll all work out at the moment. So Glass on the up, getting it back. It's a poor handball by Schofield. Little give by Shepherd to Marston. Now Kennedy flew high, Hill at the back. Did the right thing, pushing forward. Shaw, he's a good player. Forcing it along the line. Boundary throw in. So the Eagles just can't get it happening, can they? I mean, nothing is easy for them tonight. It's all pushing up a hill.
Yep. 45 points the margin. Grundy in front. Taps it forward. Thomas, developing player, goes along the boundary line, and the Macaffer pushes it out.
Confidence is an amazing thing as well, Bruce. They don't have any free-flowing nature to their game whatsoever, but just seem really unsure with ball in hand at the moment.
Josh Thomas up to 18 possessions now. Ball, Pendlebury, O'Brien saw the danger, went back to Thomas, make that 19. Shuffles it across half back. It was a clever kick. Seedsman, brilliant hand pass forward. Shaw over the top. It's an exercise gallop. Side bottom, O'Brien, Pendlebury. O'Brien Top end of the centre square, then in from the side. Swan almost hands to it, couldn't hang on. Back goes Brown under pressure. Shepherd tracks it towards the boundary line and lets it go out.
That was a great illustration of this whole game tonight. From the defensive 50 to the forward 50, their work rate, their high half forwards pushing up, Blair side bottom, and it's just been a huge difference in the game tonight.
Bit of a blue going on here, Cripps with Marley Williams and Harry O'Brien, so good on you, Marston, to come in and give him a hand. I think McKinnody's coming off with the blood rule.
No doubt about that.
Like a little boxer's cut, isn't it? In the eye.
Harry's been feisty since he's come back in the side, hasn't he? He's been a few of those scuffles since he's returned into the team.
He's played some great footy, hasn't he, over the last month. So 66 to 21. Cox probably wins the tap. Speaking over O'Brien, he charged into Grundy. But Grundy, well done to Thomas. And then Thomas kicking towards goal and belting it away. So some of these Collingwood players are on career highs at the moment. And Bull's best ever is 31. He's on 18. Thomas has got 20 already. Now, his career high is 28. So I feel like a lot of them are going to get some massive numbers tonight.
Smith. It's a powerful leg towards the outer side, but they haven't got the numbers out there. It's 3-on-2. Maxwell dives back after the football. The two prevail, and the cavalry arrived. Shepherd gave it to Butler to Gaff. He kicks a high ball towards half forward. Going back with wonderful courage was Dwyer. The Magpies colliding. Williams, and the last man up, Brown, as the short one goes out towards the boundary, and McCaffer. Just over 4 minutes to half-time. Side bottom, did he juggle it across the boundary? Boundary umpire right there. Apparently not. Steele side bottom. Told to play on. Kicked his first AFL goal against the Eagles, round 909, and just his third game. What a star he's become. Shaw off his step.
They're on here, Collingwood. They've got numbers everywhere.
Williams developing into a nice player. He's got a good kick on him. Cloak forced to hold up. Wanting it long is Swan. Can he get it there? Well, the first man to arrive should be ball at the back of the pack. Just as well, Shepherd was able to punch it forward. Ball close to the boundary. In goes McKenzie. Did well. Gave it to Rosa, to Shepherd. Now it comes to Glass.
And then off a step, Glass just down the line. Kennedy did well. Gee, Williams was good there. Was a little hip and shoulder, and then was going to give it off to Seedsman. Decided to belt the ball forward. Dwyer, with him is Selwood. Close to the line, still in, Selwood. Dwyer, Cloak trying to fetch it with McKenzie. McKenzie will try and get it over the line, and they do. And it'll be a boundary throw in. So here's the Dwyer. Searching, courageous, isn't it? That's good stuff.
Going back with your chest facing the ball in the open space.
He's been so impressive, hasn't he? So Cox gets it to Selwood, to Rosen.
Rosa comes towards the interchange gates, hands in the back, no free kick for Kennedy. Brown races away with it 70 metres out, sends it long down towards full forward. Cloaks in front, fisted away by McKenzie, picked up by Thomas, gets through, lines up and misses. Well, that was brilliant, but should have kicked the goal. Would have thought that was a free.
There's still a forearm in the back. I don't think it was the hand, but the forearm still pushed him forward. It's still a still in the back decision if the umpire's got a chance to look at our angle.
So Collingwood's had the last 6 scoring shots. They've kicked 1-5. They're 10-8 to 3-3. It's been a dominating first half, Kennedy.
Advantage.
So Prittis running it to Marston. Now, this will be interesting. Cox and Gaff. Gaff's the one, if Cox can provide the Shepherd. Gaff has to be clean. Now he goes back to Cox, but well done by Collingwood. They held them up, and Sidebotting ripping in and getting the ball away. So that sums up the night a bit, doesn't it? They were in the van and they couldn't take advantage.
Yeah, they look like linking up every now and again, the Eagles, but they have trouble just getting the speed to actually get into space to really create.
Cox knocking it down, side bottom, stealing it. Kennedy goes with the right boot. Not his long suit. And as a result, he skewed off the outside of the boot, but Dwyer made it look okay with a hard-running mark, taking a tumble there as the ball arrived. Dwyer goes back to side bottom. A minute and a half to go to half-time. Emphatic first half from the Magpies. A tune-up, 68 to 21. I would have thought at the start of the season teams would be tuning up on the West Coast Eagles. I think from memory I had them in the grand final.
You weren't alone, Tim.
Lynch kicks towards the 50. Oh, terrific black Cloak. Thomas on the overlap. Oh, that is silky. That is from the top shelf. Swan's got it now. And Bucks is planning. He's looking ahead. He's not taking it kick by kick. Not even game by game tonight.
He's been fantastic, Thomas. Has he 22 disposals? I mean, he's heading for the 40 possession game. Well, that's rarefied air if you're getting near those numbers.
Dane Swan has one. Kick is on the way. Splits the middle. Embarrassing now. They're doing much as they want.
So it's always two sides of looking at things, Lee. I mean, are you thinking, gee, Collingwood are going to be 5th or 6th, but they've still, you know, they're good enough to make some sort of a run? Or you're thinking, gee, how bad are the Eagles?
Oh, no, I think the Eagles are in pretty poor shape at the moment. I mean, what they were like last week, what they've been like in this first half, I mean, they haven't really put up much opposition, but I think Collingwood have improved over this last month or so, or proved over this last month or so. When they got this kind of team on the field, most of them available, they're certainly capable of beating the top 4 teams on any given day.
They've had a big first half. Biggest first quarter ever under Nathan Buckley. I know it's been a fairly short tenure so far, but biggest first quarter ever against the Eagles, and they're continuing the pile on the pressure. This time Selwood out of the centre to fall forward. Front spot, Darling. Kennedy did brilliantly. Well, he deserved a goal. That was fantastic by the big guy. He looks in pretty good nick, actually.
Yeah, he's working hard. Brown's doing well on him tonight. I mean, he's really having to work to get the footy because Brown's been defending really well, but he'll keep going, Kennedy. He's had a magnificent year.
Speaking of Kennedy, it's the Collingwood one, and he's taken one pick on the draft after Grundy. A great kick, Prittis. That's a poor kick. Kennedy asked to do too much. Handball was good by Ben Kennedy. Shaw, well done. Seedsman's been good. That was sloppy. Gaff, Shepherd, off a step. Siren sounds. And West Coast, with their tails between their legs, a bit short, a bit wounded here for the moment. Just that right shoulder, maybe. He's sucking it in and maybe gathering himself. But Collingwood, massive first half. They've got a huge lead. 11-8 to 3-4, half-time on a Friday night with a whole lot of footy news and things to talk about, including Paddy Mills, after this.
Football is and that's what West Coast needed to do in the first half.
74 players, 22. The margin was 37 at quarter time, so it's been a progression for Collingwood. Travis Clark up forward, counting the ways and counting his goals. He's got a couple, both from 50-metre penalties, as it turned out. Cox hooks it down behind, looking for Prittis. Stifling the hand pass was Pendlebury, and the umpire will do the business again. Good night for playing footy. Not too cold, not much breeze. Grundy directs it down to Swan. Sweeping hand pass. Heard the voice. O'Brien, Pendlebury. O'Brien, no real pressure. Kicks it around the corner. Awkward half volley. Comes back to O'Brien. It was knocked in his direction by Thomas, who's played a very good first half. Now Selwood to Hill. Cox back to Selwood, in trouble. Seedsman's got him.
So often tonight they've handballed to somebody under the pump, I reckon, the Eagles, and then Cox giving to Selwood, who was immediately tackled, and their handballs have been cut off so often tonight. They've been shoddy with the ball.
Yeah, reflects in the tackles too, Bruce. I mean, Collingwood dominating possession, but also 40 tackles to West Coast 29, a clear indicator of the intensity difference between the two sides.
So side bottom played a lot of half-back this year. It was a neat kick looking for Lynch. He kicked a couple of goals in the opening term. Prittis and Cox have both been prolific, as has Master, but not much has happened with the ball. And again, a handball cut off. Blair, gang tackle, but he managed to get the ball away. Kennedy, Rosa, he's tackled by Pendlebury and Maxwell, and the ball up.
Right now.
So I wonder if Johnny Worsfold should have whispered in the ear they could still make the finals before the start of the match. Whether he did or not sure, but it's been a limp display so far by West Coast. Collingwood have been good, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And a ball.
Just make an attempt. Take it away, guys. Take it away. Take it away. Collingwood free kick here. Collingwood free kick. Brett McCaffer.
Scuffle on the wing. McCaffer gets the free. Plays on immediately. Guess who's cruising past? Swan towards half forward. Cloak carried under the football. It runs free at the back. Storming up the ground is Reid. Could have almost been in the back there. Side bottom slipped over. In trouble was Smith. Chopped off by Reid. Kennedy short to McCaffer. McCaffer right on the 50. Kicks it down towards full forward. Getting a fingertip to it initially was Butler. Followed up with the boot. In there is McKenzie. Coming against that traffic was Selwood. Falls towards Butler. He's got a problem. Trying to wrench it out of there is Thomas. Nothing doing, and the umpire calls for it.
Well, with Collingwood well in control of the game, you can see Alan Didak has taken the vest off. I reckon the Collingwood fans will give him a fair roar. Hasn't played for a while. Be good to see him out there.
That's for sure, Richo. He's a favourite, isn't he? Let's hope he can make an impact. I feel like he's probably got one chance to have a hope of playing finals, and that's tonight. So that'll be a big story of the second half. Cripps belts it out. Keith down low. Good pick up by the big guy. Tallest player on the Collingwood list. Williams so good. And then banging right to the goal square. Cloak outnumbered. Swan and Butler. Still Swan and Butler. Ball still in. Well played by Swan, but now Rosa onto it. Rosa's been out for a fair while. He's only played 10 games this season. Down the line. Hill poking the ball forward. Hasn't rolled out. Gets a second crack. Good pick up by Hill. And then he gets it. Well, he should have got a free kick, I think. And now side bottom all on his home to set up. Kick to McCaffer.
Brad Marsden takes something off the kick. Quite a bit off the kick, actually. Bounces past Cloak. Swooping on it is Glass. Away to Butler. Butler out of the back pocket. Well, the big guy's got a task here. Two Collingwood players up against him. Aware of that, Grundy. Got it back to the second of them. O'Brien, Shaw. Now Pendlebury, as loose as you like, as loose as a goose. Still he goes. Sometimes he's like slow motion in poetry. Well, vice versa as the ball goes down towards the pocket. Off the boot, did it come?
We just saw another example with Grundy in. He goes Didak onto the field. Just that awareness of Grundy of where one is. Ability to knock the ball into usable space. Just terrific awareness.
So Cripps, as he pinged, boundary throw-in.
Also on top of that, Lee, I think the defensive mindset, I mean, one of Cox's greatest strengths is spreading away. There's Didak on screen.
So what has he got to do tonight, Didak? I mean, this is his one chance, isn't it?
I suspect he's got to show he can play as that high half forward, get upfield and run back with the flight of the ball, not trying to get balls across the defensive 50, but run forward with the footy, see if he can do that.
So Cripps to Prittis. Kennedy and Lycett. Well done, Lycett. Now, pretty open forward line. Maybe a chance here. Rosa running hard. Poor kick. That's disappointing.
So Shaw took the mark. Didak immediately into the action. Hasn't played since round 11. Queen's birthday round. Gives it to Dwyer. Dwyer goes along the line asking a lot of Cloak. Dwyer backing up. The ball's out of bounds on the full. In that game on the Queen's birthday Monday, 25 possessions, Alan Didak. Now a meeting at the Mines.
See there, Luke Paul is the man that's been subbed out. He's not on the bench. He is down in the change rooms. Didn't come back after half time.
It's come off here for a trap.
Ball leaves the game with 18 possessions just after half time. That's impressive. Most of them hard won. Here's Schofield, meantime, kicks beyond the wing. Kennedy comes up a long way from home, takes the mark. Just forward of the wing. Josh Kennedy, searching kicker, not a bad one either, lurking behind McGinnity. Just taken away at the last moment by Williams to Reid. They bring it out again, side bottom. Didak is breaking. Look at the energy from number 4. He can take it and go. Spots Lynch. Finds him now. Lynch has got the ball down towards left half forward. Not much ahead. Well, that's how confident they are. Go to Cloak, and why not? Cloak just a step inside the boundary. That was a beautiful kick. Seriously outnumbered inside the forward 50 with Collingwood, but it didn't matter because the kick was so precise. Now this will test it. That was Cloak. Needed a 50-metre penalty right there. He puts it across the face, and the mark is taken by Cox.
They were Cox. So dangerous kick, but okay in the end. Nasty, they used the run. Smith to Rosa. So what's Rosa up to? I feel like he's had a fair bit of the ball. He has. So 22 disposals down the line. Now, Luke Ball, we haven't seen him since half-time. Joey, do you know something?
Oh, look, I'm only speculating. You know, I don't want to jinx him, but I did notice him in the second quarter just rub his calf at one stage on the wing after a big effort. So touchwood, he's okay, but I did notice him play with his calf during that quarter.
Yeah. So further to that, Joey, he was stretching out his calf a lot late in that quarter, Luke Ball.
Good
and
mark.
Darling's on off to Bruce and Dalziel in.
So is he injured, Richard?
Yeah, he's
Darling?
on the bench now. Looks like he's got a right leg concern.
Okay, good mark by Kennedy. Rosa, so Rosa prolific and a lovely kick to Hill in the pocket. Well, interesting, no beams tonight with the bat. Ball, maybe just a little calf. I mean,
it's important too, isn't he? Because he's such an anchor point of their in-close work in there around their stoppages. He complements so much the Pendleburys and Swans. So Beams is just another one.
He's done enough, Hill, tonight. I reckon he's kicked a couple of goals. He's had a couple of shots, and that one he's just missed.
That's been the story of both these clubs, really. A lot of injuries this season. But fair to say, Collingwood have made light of them in comparison to the West Coast Eagles. And the West Coast Eagles' home record has been the thing. 8 losses in 11. Won't be hard for the statisticians to follow Didak's progress. War every time he gets the footy. Swan, Kennedy. Kennedy wants to run on. Reid, well, I think Kennedy sold him into that trouble. Kennedy applies a tackle, nevertheless. It came across towards Marston. Marston gave it to Schofield. Shepherd battling. Josh Thomas, Pendlebury, O'Brien. Bit of a fumble. Uncharacteristically, Pendlebury found it again, helped by O'Brien. Reid gave it across towards Lynch. Lynch to Keith. Hardly stellar stuff, improvising as Keith.
Threw it up in the air to Keefe, but Schofield trying to back turn away to Marston. Well done. Collingwood's pressure. Bucks is going to love this. I mean, their intercepting tonight has been fantastic. They have gotten the scoreboard and they're just at West Coast all the time. They get a good bounce. Kennedy, well, give it to Didak. No, he doesn't. Goes inside. Good kick. He did the T thing. Dwyer gives it to Cloak. Cloak's in front of the Coleman. And Collingwood are charging away. There was a bit of romance in me. I wanted Dids to get it at half forward.
Well, Dids is actually looking to the bench. He has run virtually non-stop since he came on about 5 minutes ago. And he's looking for the spell now. Talk about adrenaline rush when he went onto the field. It'll be interesting to see what kind of sort of running power he can generate for the rest of this second half.
Collingwood's pressure's been fantastic.
Yeah, Bruce, you've spoken about Collingwood's pressure, and it has been fantastic this quarter, but I reckon that's what they want to see from Didak. If he can continue that pressure that the rest of the midfielders are doing, that's what might get him a game in the finals.
Story on the Coleman.
Yeah, BT was the last Collingwood player to win the Coleman in 1986, Dan.
Impressive. McGinnity. Prentice running down towards half forward. Still he's going. Prentice went too far. Well, the master of evasion forgot to bounce it.
Well, not too much doubt about that one there.
Cloak kicked 3 goals, Joe, last year, but with a little bit of think music, if you can only have one, would you have Cloak or Josh Kennedy?
Cloak.
Only one.
Well, certainly Cloak's got the supporting cast tonight. Here's Keith, meantime. Quite comical moments ago in midfield. McCaffer, the 2 number 3s. Gaff beats him back, close to the boundary line, tries to go down that boundary line, but one of the mark in Dalziel, who started as the sub, can't get across in time. Darling is off the ground.
Let's go back over the line.
So Seedsman having to retake his kick right at the interchange. There's a powerful leg, goes down the line, kick favours Cloak, and that's a strong grab. Beautiful kick, one of the mark.
Cloak's been mighty fine, Nick, we know that. Kicking forward, and there's the Cloak-Reid combination. I mean, you see the value of the 2 big guys, don't you?
That was just classic, that. If you watch this contested mark on replay.
And we've seen Luke Ball here.
There's Luke Ball going.
Got him well done, Richard. Good spot. So got the vest on and maybe that little calf, eh? So that's a big story for Collingwood in round 22.
Well, I'm just hoping it's because they're 40, 50 points up at half-time, they can afford just to put him on ice, and because Beams is out, make sure that he doesn't do anything more serious.
And Reed's kick 4. Close got 3. Reed's kick 4. And Collingwood march on. I mean, this is one of the big things that Hawthorn have got, you know, Ruffy and Buddy, we know, and Gunster. But when you've got Cloke and Reed, you know, suddenly it's a dimension that the opposition find difficult to match.
Well, they got 9 goals out of those big forwards so far tonight. We're only halfway through the third quarter, so certainly that 3 talls in their forward line are all making a contribution.
It's a good effort at 4, 3 and 2.
Terrific mark here by Reed, and it's been one of the stories for Collingwood in the second half, having Reed as an option forward. But I'm still adamant they can't beat Hawthorn with Reed playing forward.
Okay,
has to play back.
Matching his career high with 4 goals tonight. Out of the middle again, Swan got it from Thomas. Searching kick. Wide of the mark that time. Bounces past Brown and Reed and goes out of bounds. There's Ball. Interesting story.
That being Tommy, reckon Reed's needed to play on Franklin. That's the principle, yeah.
Yep, Reed, Franklin, Roughhead, Hale. They need 3 key tools down there.
Lysette in front. Grundy over the top, won it. Goes after it again. Grundy in trouble. He's got a leg in there. It might be a free kick to Cripps. No, it's going to be a ball up just inside the 50. Wasting no time, throwing it in the air. Grundy decisively that time. Pendlebury. Lovely. Well, took a bit too much for granted there. Lysette in trouble. Falling to the ground is Rosa right on that 50. Over the top comes Maxwell, and the umpire wants it.
But Lee, you can be horses for courses, Tom. I mean, come finals, it depends who Collingwood plays, doesn't it?
Absolutely. One thing about Reed, you know, you can play defence, so you don't have to worry. You can swing him backwards and forwards according to the opposition.
Wellingham, cut off Wilson. Well done by Thomas, and then Kennedy. Short to Swan. He's kicked a couple, Swanee. He must be a big Brownlow chance again this year. He's such a prolific vote getter. He's had a fantastic year. I mean, just gets 30 just about every time he plays, doesn't he?
He's got a bit of the long torso and the short legs and has that strength through the hips. I mean, you never see him get taken to ground in a tackle. He is just a phenomenal footballer.
We're talking about the Matthews model now, aren't we? So can Swanee kick a third? Not that time. That one's a wayward one, and that's out on the foot.
Well, that's when you talk about that. Yeah, you've got better balance with shorter legs. That's why Franklin's a freak. He's got long legs, but really good agility and balance.
Poor buddy, eh?
No, it just makes why he's so good. Why he's such a freak.
He's thinking at home, gee, I'm not perfect. I haven't got Lee's long torso.
Gaff to Selwood, back to Gaff, goes along the boundary line. Wilson almost stepped up with the footy, kept the footy in. He kicks it straight to O'Brien. Not what he was trying to do. Selwood with courage across the path of the leading player Blair and finds the football. Terrific stuff. Charged down though by Kennedy, taken by Grundy. Fumble from Williams, died out to the roar of the crowd. Falling Groundwood got the hand pass away. Dalziel ran into Williams. Williams at close quarters, too slick for Pendlebury. Pendlebury brilliant, releases Kennedy, runs to 30, tips the goal. Pendlebury. Wow. Brilliant by Scott Pendlebury. Low down. Sometimes in that situation you simply forget the courage. Surrounded by bodies, many of them moving quickly, just takes his time to find the football in the congestion and then give it off. He's a champion.
As Dennis said, he's been brilliant, Pendlebury. I mean, courageous, but with all the skill and the time. 26 disposals. And Kennedy's done well. He came into the team tonight. He's kicked his goal. And I reckon Paddy Mills will be pretty impressed with what he's seen with his old mate. Thomas has been great. So Collingwood here have got past that 66 points that West Coast lost by last week. So the Eagles are in an awful position right now. They're in a quagmire, and they're down a deep well in this match with not much wriggle room at all. You're fully exposed, aren't you? There's Cloke and Didac together. Two great Collingwood names. Brilliantly done by Swan, and it's a behind. Joey, when you see Collingwood like this, I mean, there's a big four, and then there's Collingwood and maybe Richmond. Do you feel like there's any chance they could they could go all the way.
Yeah, Tom and I were speaking about off there. It's just so hard when you don't finish in the top 4. I mean, they're going to have to win their first final, then play a team like Sydney or Fremantle away in the second week, and then come up against the Geelong or Hawthorn or something like that. So it's so hard. But the way they're playing tonight, they are formidable. When their midfield's playing like this, Cloak and Reid up forward, they are going to be hard to stop, but it is hard.
So that's the task that's facing them. No team's done it under the final 8 system with the current 1v4, 2v3. Haven't got to that grand final. So Wilson, just a slow kick to Shepherd.
There's Rosa finding so much of it. Goes inside the forward 50. Gaff with courage. Went down low. Keith, McCaffer, Shaw. And Seedsman drives it, looking for Swan and hitting him on the chest just outside the defensive 50. So the margin currently, what is it, 70 points. Interesting, because the last time the West Coast Eagles lost by 70 on Friday night here at the MCG was against Fitzroy. The mark is taken by Dean Cox directly in front, and he might get the trip here.
He might have been playing, Dean.
Who was that, Dean?
Well, he's been around for a while, Cox, hasn't he?
Well, he is a veteran, yeah. I doubt even he would get that trip back in time.
It's his 13th season, and that was about 25 years ago.
There he is, the big fella. Stellar career, and that's a lovely kick, just tapering off, going for the extra distance. And it's back to 69.
Been an interesting player, Cox. I mean, he's been all Australian ruckman in an 0, 11 and 12. Like, that's the last 2 years, but I think he's dropped a fair bit below that level.
Do you think because Nat knew he's not with him? Do you think because Nat knew he's not with him?
Yeah, maybe he's just having too much of a workload. But he's 32. I mean, he is in that very, the latter stages of his career.
Seedsman, Maxwell. Lee, he kicked 28 goals last year, which helps you get in the All-Australian team because Nat knew he was doing a lot more. Now he's a lot more in the middle.
Almost as a pair.
Yeah. So I think it might be half a reason. Cloak couldn't quite that time. Butler to McKenzie. So a bit of time for once for a defender, and that's a floaty, not a great kick, and gives Hill very little chance in a boundary throw in.
Remember when Dean Cox used to play like a 200-centimetre midfielder? He'd run out to the ring to be the loose player out of defence. He's just that kind of play. You just don't see him or the Eagles going through that these days.
Interesting umpire just letting that go, which I think we all probably like, with that bit of a wrestle with Grundy and Cox.
Sure, clever. Selwood trying his heart out still. Side bottom. Swan. Williams couldn't find a way through. Back comes Selwood. Past the tall midfielder. Dragged down that time. Now the defence. The kick comes high from side bottom, just outside the defensive 50. But one senses it's going back in. This is Schofield. Schofield looks across the ground, trying to get it all the way to Dalziel. Going back is Maxwell. Played it brilliantly a couple of times. And Swan now peels off. Relentless. Goes to Kennedy. Comes again. Can go over the top to Didac. Not that time. Went instead to O'Brien. Put himself under pressure by cutting back inside. Falling over was Kennedy. Ball comes out of there from Marsden. With the run of it, Rosa. Now Dalziel. Dalziel 70 metres out. Well, you would need to get lucky if you were Hill. Belsack took the mark.
He had Lycett on his own, Dalziel, out wide, but just couldn't get him into his vision. Seedsman takes the mark. A minute ago, Seedsman kicked the ball from the back pocket. He had to kick it about 60 metres to Swan, and he made it. He's got a brilliant long kick. Schofield didn't take it. Well done, Dwyer. Here's Grundy. Well, he could have run and bounced, but he kicked straight to centre half forward. Lynch maybe held on to. Glass and Lynch, they would have done this in training a few times. And Glass, well, what is the call? He's pinged. Well, come on, Dids, do something magical.
What will he do, Jerry? Right foot or not?
Yeah,
right foot.
Let's hope he kicks a goal. He doesn't quite. He's been one of, I've got to say, as a broadcaster, one of my favourite players.
Yeah. He was Stevie J before Stevie J was Stevie J.
Exactly, Tim, exactly. I reckon Stevie J bought his book and then added some, don't you?
Yes.
Stevie J was a big Collingwood fan as a kid, and no surprises to who his favourite player was, Pete Akos.
That's good background. Here's Prittis. Prittis inside the defensive 50. Nice kick coming out. Dalziel gives it off. Fumble low. Willingham under pressure now. Walsack brought him down, but Rosie got the football, goes to Butler. In short, Marston alongside the centre circles. 94-24. Looking for Kennedy, lurking behind his Shaw, plenty of time. Weaves his way out, comes to Seedsman. He's a great half back.
Well, he was the late inclusion. It's going to be hard to keep out of the team, I reckon, come September. That's the fascinating, or the really exciting thing about Collingwood when you think about Josh Thomas and Marley Williams and Paul Seedsman tonight. Ben Kennedy's done well. They've got some youth coming through, haven't they?
Problem is, some of them went missing last Friday night, didn't they?
Yeah, they were playing the best, weren't they?
That's right.
So Williams running hard. Is that out on the full? I think it might be, and it'll be a McKenzie kick in. So Cloak, 1 goal in front of McColeman on 61. Josh Kennedy he's only kicked 1 goal in the last 3 weeks going into tonight, so he's been stuck a bit. Ruffy there and Cameron, of course, and Jack Revolt not far away. Speaking of Kennedy,
it's about 75 minutes from goal. Sends it long. Running back is McGinnity. Getting a hand in there in the nick of time was Brown. That was clever. They're playing with great confidence. Over the shoulder to side bottom. Half volley towards Williams. Just fends off Dalziel. Breaks away. Stretching Thomas. It was a gutsy mark. We would have heard them coming up from behind. Goes short. Didak. This is exciting. Didak trying to wind back the clock. Goes short. Runs hard. Wanted it back at least initially. Williams realised that Didak was being closely monitored. Kicks inside the 50, does Williams, marked by Wilson. Little chip coming out then, taken by Cripps. The defensive end of the centre square. Dalziel is on. He comes to him now. Cox is cruising past. Flirts with the idea. Decides not to give it. High ball. Wellingham needs to be perfect here. But more particularly, the kick did. Didak. O'Brien. And now Cloak.
And Reid running hard. They're Cloak. Just spend it a bit now. He's got Reid. Oh! No, out in the full. Wasn't much in it, but I think it was a good call. Just a minute ago, Williams running forward. I'll get back to it in a second. Martin, he turned it over. Now, that was the difference last week against Hawthorn when the turnovers were really costly, I think, for Collingwood. Now, tonight, it's not going to make any difference in the end score, but that's where they've probably got to clean up a bit.
Yeah, well, there's no substitute for time on the block, so those young Collingwood players were exposed to a finals type intensity game last week against Hawthorn, and common sense suggests they'll be better for the run.
Dwyer, one of the stories of Collingwood this year, isn't he? The mature age. He's still on the rookie list, and he hasn't missed a beat much. McCaffer, premiership player, has played 4 games in the 2 years since then before this season. McCaffer, Pendlebury, unlike him. Prittis, well done by Josh Thomas. Swan running hard.
Coming up to meet him there is McKenzie. Does he get into his back? Umpire lets them play. They'll throw it up deep in the pocket.
He can have some big second half swans. He's had 12 possessions this third quarter. When everyone's tiring a little bit, he can keep going.
Almost number 30 right there. Cripps comes away. Sends it towards the outside wing. Untidy kick. Brown. Interesting duel between this pair, and Brown pushes it across the line, trying to convince the umpire that he's completely unco. We'll have a boundary throw in.
I'm watching Josh Kennedy and Cloak tonight, and we were asked to pick our best forward line this afternoon before this game. I want to put that in because...
What, are you writing him off?
I might have made a mistake.
Yeah, that's right. After the game, it might be a bit different.
You've dropped him mid-game. Rather subs.
No, just explaining it was tonight's game wasn't in our thinking at all, Tom.
Well, by you saying that, Lee, I feel comforted with my selection too.
Lee, we do have graphic artists that can change things, you know.
No. We do it over the season, of course, but whenever you see a game and at one end Close going really well and at the other end Josh Kennedy not so good tonight.
Well, I think that tall key forward's going to be such an interesting selection for the All-Australian team anyway, so...
Save it, we'll discuss it.
Yep, we will. So, Butler, that one smothered boundary throw-in. I reckon early in the season, your Nick Revolt would have been up pretty high, Joey. He had a terrific... In fact, he's had a good year all round, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's had a terrific year, but I probably would have had Josh Kennedy in my side too at this stage, so if that makes any difference.
You go to him ahead of Cloak.
Yeah.
So Pendlebury off a step. Looking forward to that at the end of the night. Reid's been good tonight, and that one, well, kicking across the face. Just, it was a good idea, actually, just nobody quite there. And then Wilson, dangerous kick, ricocheting away. Pendlebury gets it from Reid. Pendlebury, well done. Blair over the top almost. Well done, Shepherd. And then Shepherd belting the ball out. Schofield running hard. It's just been a miserable night so far for the Eagles. This is better, but maybe the clock will beat them. Cox, he needs to kick for goal now. Right now, Dino. No. Not for want of trying by the big guy there. But that scoreline says it all doesn't. Three-quarter time here at the MCG on this Friday night. First time these two teams have played on the Friday night of the G. Didak out there running around. Collingwood lead by 70 points. It's 94-24.
Good decisions around the ground. They both offensively, he finds space, he joins in, he also pushes back defensively. He took a mark on the goal line. A lot to work with there.
For those keeping score at home, Alan Didak, 7 possessions and less than a quarter came on as this sharp. And boy, did he run. Cox decisively. Well done by Selwood. Dances out of trouble. Little 1-2 with Smith. Comes out wide. Cripps gets on the end of it. Thought about going. Decides to hold up 75 metres from goal. Just the 3 goals so far for the West Coast Eagles. Cox working hard. Runs on. Grundy came to him. Kicked down towards full forward. Loose at the back. Williams leads back. Run down. Eagles have got the numbers. Shepherd, perhaps the wrong choice. Sent away on his left foot. Having to come back was Gaff to Shepherd. Now they're driven outside the 50. Butler looks up. Kicks to no man's land. A wonderful balance by Marley Williams. High ball towards the wing. And Cloak almost the mark. Didak. No Collingwood players up ahead. Well, one of them. Lynch, a hand pass. Now breaking inside the 50 is Reid. He comes back towards O'Brien, who kicks it over his head. Cloak gave O'Brien the ball with a hand pass. It came to naught.
And then Smith looking for Cox down the line. Well done by Pendlebury. Selwood had to search, but he's so courageous he won't take his eye off it. Dalziel the sub, and that kick coughed up and taken by Keefe. So Keefe coming back into the team in the last 6 weeks has made a massive difference to the structure for Collingwood. It's enabled Reid to go forward. So Brown, the other tall defender, did such a good job in that final series on the great Nick Riewoldt, didn't he? So short from Josh Thomas. So Josh Thomas career high 29 now. Seedsman off the step. Such a beautiful kick. I mean, he times the ball superbly. Getting the ball out wide. Dwyer and Smith together. Dwyer, Smith probably got into his back. No free kick, and now the ball somewhere in there. And I think it'll be a ball up.
It's a powerful kick, Seedsman, as you've noted a few times, Bruce. So the ball goes low and flat and gets to its target much quicker, which makes it harder for the defence to actually get there in the flight of the footy.
Cox at the second attempt gets it out only as far as Pendlebury, who goes to the pocket. It's almost been a free kick to the man in front. First back is Glass. He's never mastered that U-turn in that situation. He goes very wide. Lovely throw it.
So obvious, isn't it?
Well, it is to us up here, but obviously it looks different down there. Cox being held, knocks it down in front. Oh, well played Kennedy, and again got the arms free. Wheels around, deserves the goal. Has it got the carry? Oh, it hit the post.
He's doing the best of the Kennedys tonight in front of goal, isn't he? He's kicked his one. I think Josh Kennedy's played quite well actually at the other end. He just had very few clean chances. So straight down the middle of the target. Keefe was there against Schofield. Well played by Heathshaw. Pendlebury on his toe straps. Ben Kennedy. Josh Thomas up to 30 for the first time in his career. Maxwell held up, did well. Seedsman trying to get through. Cut off McGinnity. Trying to break the Maxwell tackle. Slung down. Back to McCaffer. Back to Keefe. And then Keefe to Harry. And then Shaw running hard. And he'll kick it down. Yep, got him. So Shaw protected the footy so well. What a great pair, Reese and Heath are. And Shaw to his old mate Didak, eh? They get on well, we know that. So Didak trying to be creative. Brown. And they got themselves into a little bit of a post box there. Brown kicking forward. Cox. Grundy, Marston, back to Butler. Butler had to retreat. Back to Priddis. Good give by Priddis. McKenzie, so much pressure.
Seedsman. Goal sack. Didak. Awkward one for O'Brien. Steps around a would-be tackler. Runs to the 50. Unloads, but it's wide of the mark. Great agility by Harry O'Brien.
Remember early in the year, Bruce, when Didak played, I'm pretty sure with Collingwood against the Lions, a Friday night game, and he got a bit of the ball late in the game, and I think Nathan Buckley almost used that term waxed, that his teammates were waxing with him. It's like the old schoolboy day, just keep giving him the footy.
It was the three of them, Swan, Shaw and Pendlebury, ended up with about 20 touches each in the second half.
Brown under pressure, high ball, marked by his twin. So Nathan Brown looks back inside to Keith. Maxwell is on. White is still his goal sack if he decides to go there, but he decides against it. Not much on straight up the middle, so it comes back to Keith. Keith at left half back. Collingwood dominant, but just picked back inside their own half right here, side bottom. Thought about going to Swan. Now very indecisive. Eventually will go to Goldsack. Will it get there? Yes, it does. So Goldsack has got the footy, and Swan's had enough of that. He takes off, demanding the football. Still doesn't get it. It comes back to side bottom, right on the zero.
West Coast man on man here, and pretty effective. So they've had to work hard. As Dennis said, the statisticians don't even have to look up. They know who's got it. It was Didak.
He's done well. Moved up to 11 disposals in his short time on the ground, Didak.
Reed to Pendlebury. I reckon the one thing he needs to do is hit the scoreboard.
Yep. Explode as well. I think it's all well and good getting possessions in this stop-start passage of play, but really explode and show you can influence the contest that way.
So Glass cut it off. Gaff to try and set up. Josh Kennedy, big fly almost. Dalziel. Now does he use Hill? He does it. He goes for goal. That's a good kick. And they've got their fourth goal. It's been a long time coming. He had a good year, Dalziel. He was at Brisbane for a couple of years. He's hardly played much footy. Lee, were you there when he was there?
Yeah, I was there. He played his first game, and I think he had 32 possessions in his first game, but he probably never played a better game than that, to be honest. It was his best game he's ever played, and he went back. He's a really good runner, so he just covers the ground, so he can keep himself involved in the various phases of play because he can just keep following the footy, following the play.
He's kicked 8 goals in his last 6 matches. He's had a good patch, actually. They did well. They sort of hemmed Collingwood in, didn't they? And then got the turnover and got the goal.
Yep. Grundy on the way down. Cox, actually. Marston floats one inside the forward 50. Goldsack came at it hard. Brown got a fist on it. Goldsack back to Crummett. Williams growing in stature back there. This kick floats along the 50, and the mark is taken by Nathan Brown. Suddenly, very static at the back, Collingwood. Almost as if they feel they've done enough to Maxwell in the opposite pocket. Mind you, they almost have. Didak again, though. He's the industrious one. He's the one who's hustling, and with good reason. Wants a place come finals time. Just loops it over the top, side bottom. That was a good kick. It gave him momentum should he want to take it. He didn't. Decided to hold up. Leon's the call. No one's very interested. Side bottom. Cox just staying off. Now this kick goes to space. Blair in trouble. Heard the voice, knew where the help was. Back to Thomas. A breakout game. Goes down towards right half forward. Strong mitts there. Cloak wants to go. Wasting no time. Long down towards the pocket. In front is Brown. And Brown does well. Mitchell Brown.
So Darren Glass, for not the first time tonight, wants a wrestle, doesn't he?
Watch a bit aggro tonight, doesn't he?
Richo, and they're flat, Collingwood, aren't they? I mean, West Coast is going man on man at the moment. Collingwood are really struggling to get some mojo going here.
Yeah, I guess it's that point you've had the game well won for so long. It is just piddling out a little bit this game, absolutely no doubt.
So Priddis, it's hard to be critical of a team that's leading by 10.5 goals, but they're sort of making heavy weather of what so far has been A one-sided night for them. Running hard, McGinnity, well done. Wellingham cutting across and taking the mark. So he'd like nothing better than to slot this. It's taking his time.
It's taking his time.
Sorry, Bruce. I think I just said pittering out. I reckon that'd be petering out.
Don't worry, Richo.
Sorry, mate. I just butchered that.
No, you didn't, Richo. Hey, Richo, not the first time you butchered something at the MCG. No, sorry. That was Richo, you are the all-time record holder of goals kicked here. You are a beauty.
Didn't know that.
Didn't you know that you were a 4 in front of Matthew Lloyd?
I knew I had Lloydie covered. That's one thing I did know.
I think it was 464, Richard.
Who's the one? Buddy Franklin sneaking up.
He's on 300. So
it's going to be hard to get him from Skoda, though.
Do you know something we should know?
No, I'm just joking.
Sure. Poor old Richo. He contacted you, Bruce, to apologise. And then you chopped him up. You owe him one now as the kick goes down towards the wing from Maxwell. Off hands, almost Grundy's ball. Strong tackle by Grundy. His second efforts are very good. He's so nimble for a guy that size.
And as a midfielder, Joe, you'd love to see your ruckman getting down and dirty, getting his knees dirty in the second efforts, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's certainly what we said. He's been terrific doing that. He has a crack and he gets and does his second efforts, and that's what you like to see from a young ruckman.
McCaffer kicked it forward, falling backwards and losing the footy. Kennedy. Well played by Rosa. Butler over the top, releasing Prittis to space. Runs beyond the wing, goes down towards half forward. Kennedy can't quite get it right, and he's outnumbered as Brown gets it off to Shaw.
Because Darling's off the ground injured. He went off just after half-time, so it's a big blow for West Coast. They were well back at that stage, but makes a difference to Kennedy. Side bottom to O'Brien. Seedsman involved as well. Collingwood at three-quarter time were 14 goals 10, so they've only managed one behind, and they've done a lot of this in the last quarter. Now maybe they can create. Shaw. Lynch, couple of goals in the opening term. Back to Shaw. Bit of a wobbly kick though. Didak lurking. Little toe poke was good. Swan back to Didak. Back to Seedsman. And Seedsman gets around, swings it back to Shaw. And then Shaw's kick under pressure and straight to Lysette. So untidy by the Pies. Lysette at half back.
Wow, how about that? Takes on the man on the mark and gets it back from Wilson. Lysette, high ball but ill-directed. And Brown goes up to claim it to Goldsack. Can go to Thomas. Thomas breaking through the centre circles. He can go to side bottom. Thinks about it. Now he gives. Side bottom, though, by that stage, had run himself into virtual trouble. He kicks a very high ball. Swan from behind, off hands. Well played by Blair. Blair's still going. Strong tackle, got him down. Glass was the man. Down went O'Brien. Lysette again. Gave it to Shepherd. Under pressure, Wilson. Chance for Kennedy. Right on the 50. Hand passes in hope. Coming quickly, Marston. And now Schofield finds some space. Kicks towards Josh Kennedy, reaching over the top. Brown sliding in with Shaw. He was claimed by Hill. Josh Kennedy gives it off to Cox. Stripped of the ball by Keefe. On one knee with Shaw. Close to the boundary, Williams. Still going, Williams. And sends it down towards half forward.
Good play, Williams, and then Didak low. Got it to Ben Kennedy. And then Kennedy to full forward. Cloak and McKenzie, good duel. Brought to the front by Cloak. Lysette over the top to Wilson. And then Wilson with a sloppy old kick. Seedsman cuts it off. Well, thought he marked it, actually. And then Prittis. And then Goldsack. And then Seedsman again. Gee, with some pace. Oh, brilliantly done, Seedsman. And gets it across to Swan. And this is the moment. Yes! Stitch does it! Have a look at this reaction.
Is that the first goal he's ever kicked? Only for the first goals in the career. That's a player who's well loved by his teammates, isn't it? They're really happy for him.
Gotta love that. That's great stuff.
You're talking about waxing there, Bruce. That was Swanee looking after him there. Just here's an easy goal for you.
Every Collingwood player got around him to set the skipper. He's sitting across half back saying, steady on, boys.
Ah, you love it.
It's amazing. Just the feeling amongst the teammates. I mean, that is really a teammate who's well respected, Joey, when they go out of their way to acknowledge and congratulate him like that.
Yeah, you normally see that with the young kid kicking his first goal, don't you? But to see it with a 31-year-old back of the side, it's great.
Neither ruckman touched the footy. Lycett into the legs of Thomas. Spills to Gaff. Gaff kicks inside the forward 50, but with anticipation, Goldsack comes up to meet it. That's a good kick coming out too. Trying to find it initially was Thomas, almost run down by Rosa. Goes to O'Brien, gets Rosa in the air, beckons the forwards to come at him. Cloak obliges, wonderful courage by Glass, and Glass earns the free kick. Well, that is a captain in a beleaguered defence doing what captains must. Just terrific. Defining captaincy right there. Marston in midfield to half forward, fitting. If they get a goal out of that last heroic act, and they may, and it may be Kennedy's first of the night.
Do you know what, Den? I don't think we've seen the studded run-up, so that's how few chances he's had
First
tonight.
set shot, yeah, absolutely, his first set shot.
Well done with Glass too. That was just brilliant.
Now Kennedy 2 behinds, both of them off his left boot. Very accurate normally. Well, it's still there. And he's hooked this one badly. Still a live football. Knocked down in front. Goldsack goes after it in the opposite direction was Dalziel. Over the shoulder from Shaw. Side bottom. Maxwell standing off the pack. Drives it around the outer side.
Tries to get as far as he can. Cut off though. McGinnity. Butler. Belting back. Kennedy flies. Had a few to beat side bottom. Shaw swings it dangerously. Hill had a chance. Got rid of by Grundy. Grundy was really powerful in there. And a boundary throw in. Just back to Kennedy. Gee, gets close to the man on the mark. I mean, he really stuck it in.
He did then, I think, whether he knew where the man on the mark or misjudged it. That's what actually affected his kick at the last
He had to
strike.
kick it too high, didn't he, Lee, to actually get it over the man on the mark. Master tries to get the handball away. Shouldn't criticise a bloke who's been batting at 78% from set shots this year, but certainly that time. Gaff getting back to full centre forward. Lycett did well, actually. Belting it down, searching Wellingham, getting it out to Lycett. Marston, but he's got a man in Williams on him. And then Maxwell to Swan, and Swan pokes the ball out of the danger zone.
Wilson from behind missed the football. Dwyer went back to find it. Pendlebury, how about that? Sleight of hand to McCaffer. Under pressure, Thomas bounces one to Reed. He's looking for Pendlebury. He's outnumbered 3-on-1, but don't rule him out. Strips the ball, got it on the deck. Rosa needed a fourth. McGinnity, Wilson, Rosa. Kicks towards half forward, hangs a long time in the air. Kennedy can't get to the contest, built by Maxwell. Kennedy crumbed it then to Selwood, outside the 50. Not the best kick in the world. Going back, it's marked by Shaw. Wants to go. Puts himself under pressure. Bounces out towards Dalziel. He missed it. Side bottom two. Dalziel comes back, wins the football. And that's good usage. Across the ground to Marston. He's kicked one goal and finds himself 40 metres out on a very slight angle.
It's interesting there looking at the West Coast Eagles numbers. There's been some big midfield numbers. Rosa 33, Maston 30, Selwood 30. But they haven't really had much of an impact, have they? I mean, the Collingwood midfield, you'd say, has clearly dominated the West Coast midfield tonight.
Margin at 7. Steps inside the 50. Kick is on the way, and that's a beauty. Straight through the middle. Been chasing all night, so reasonably tired, but it was a strong kick. And pulls the margin back down under 70. 5 minutes remaining in the game. The game dominated by these Magpies, looking to go to 14-7. And really now the bottom half of the top four in a state of flux.
So Daisy on holiday in Fiji, the boys on fire, watching and enjoying. Hey, not a bad spot to. Well, he'd rather be out here, wouldn't he, Joey?
Yeah, he would, but I'm sure he's found a nice bar maybe in Fiji to watch this.
So Prentice got it from Lycett. And you made a good point a moment ago, Joey, about those big numbers, but maybe not much impact. Dalziel running hard, getting towards the pocket. Schofield and Goldsack. Goldsack released really well, and so did Seedsman to Williams. And then Williams down the line. The bounce important. Swan keeping his eye on it, working hard, being held up by McGinnity. Well done. Brown, Priddis, 150th game. So admirable, Priddis. Dalziel. It was Dalziel a moment ago, got it to Marston. Can he do it again? Hill goes early. Shaw wasn't looking that time, Thomas. Rosa had it belted away by Shaw. Shepherd down low, he's outnumbered, and the ball's in a bit of a tangle. And the ball up. Is it a ball up, or is it holding the ball?
The ball, go down, mate. No genuine attempt, you're just flying on the ball. Matt Rosa, your kick.
Okay. So against Josh Thomas. So Matt Rosa over the 30, short to full forward.
Ball runs free at the back. Is a chance for Schofield. Well, Williams has hardly put a foot wrong tonight. Back towards goal sack. Eventually off the ground. Thomas missed the target. Blair was cruising past. Rosa did well, got a hand in there. Deflected the hand pass, and now it's going to be the umpire who'll get the footy.
Dennis, your point about Marley Williams has been correct. He's had career high possessions tonight. I think he's up to 25, beating his previous best of 22 a couple of weeks ago, and he's looked real solid back there, really comfortable playing in the back line.
Just growing in stature week by week. Rosa, Cox, Priddis, a danger from this spot. Lines up, kick always offline, flooding towards the opposite pocket. Tailor-made for the defender. Hill comes again, though. Still after the football. In trouble is Cripps. Could be holding it. Pendlebury took him down. Umpire says holding the footy.
No genuine attempt.
Just when you look at that Collingwood defence, we've seen them play last Friday and this Friday. Really, Heath Shaw. You know, when you go back a week, maybe Heath Shaw's got to go and play on Gunston or someone like that.
Yeah.
Because Collingwood looks much better and Shaw's looked much better when he's picked an opponent, as opposed to be the recipient of that defensive forward tag.
And further to that, Bruce, I think he makes really good decisions on the last line of defence, both firstly defensively, and then obviously we know what he can do attacking wise. It's just even that movement just there. He got on the right side of Josh Hill straight away, pushed straight in.
He's been good at that. It's a terrific point.
Do you make your top four, Joey?
Yeah, we've picked the top four for tonight. Dane Swan, I think we've agreed. Dane Swan and Pendlebury again. That's just a regular occurrence for them. So Josh Thomas has played his best game by a mile. He's up to 35 possessions, 7 inside 50s. And we just spoke about Marley Williams, but his game's been terrific. He's had 10 contested possessions, equal most on the ground, 25 possessions, and as we said, defended really well and looked comfortable in that last line of defence.
He's had 83 Brownlow votes in the last 3 years, Dane Swan, before this year. And he'll add to that number.
Amazing, isn't it? Almost 30-a-year average. Amazing.
Priddis well done, couldn't quite. And then Pendlebury. And over the line. Just as a duo, I mean, you had Black and Voss and others, and they've had Cousins. Has any team had two better ones than Pendlebury and Swan at the same time? I mean, we'd have to do a bit of research, wouldn't you? But, gee, they're about as good as it gets as a twosome, aren't they?
Probably, but yeah, there'd be a few though that have a lot of good duels.
Glass, Rosa looks back inside the 50. Too easy that one. Just drifting up the ground is Hill. Just getting quirky about that twosome. Interesting with Scott Pendlebury, only the one vote ever against the West Coast Eagles. Might add to that tonight. 81 career votes in the Brownlow, but just one against the West Coast Eagles. And Dane Swan, only 22 outside Melbourne at 138. Here's Hill. 15 metres in from the line. Kick is on the way. Pretty good effort. Just tailing off hands behind.
Maybe the modern version. The old days used to wear the white ankle bandages to get the Brownlow badge. Now you get tattoos.
You didn't, did you?
That's what works. No, I'm just talking about in general. Just in general.
Swan. That's some heavy-duty research there, Dean. Seedsman out wide to Keefe, to O'Brien. Name the umpires for us. O'Brien out wide. Good mark. Kennedy just on the Eagles. Lowest score last week ever at Subiaco. And right now, lowest score ever at the MCG.
We're digging deep, aren't we?
45 is their lowest score ever at the G. So they need a goal in the behind to go past that right now. So that's just an awful fortnight, isn't it? That's terrible.
Here's Rosa to Cox. Really run out of gas.
You get exposed at the end of the year, don't you? It's like a carcass almost being picked on when it's just all the bad things get amplified, don't they?
Glass, Collingwood's the 50, if you like the 0. Pendlebury.
Proves a little bit that connection between hope and energy.
Yeah.
It's amazing when your hope goes, that just the physical energy goes as well.
On the lead, Cloak. Cleared he and his marksman. Now Goldsack at very close quarters. Kennedy digs it out. Swan's got it.
And Swan goes to Maxwell, and Nick can wind it up, but he goes to Grundy. Grundy swings it slowly to Blair. Blair hard to put down. Back to Pendlebury, and Pendlebury thinking in the siren sound. So they kicked 8 goals in the opening term. Collingwood game over at that point. Pendlebury and Swan prolific again. Didak got the goal that brought everybody's attention. They swarmed around him. Lynch kicked a couple against the old team in the opening quarter. Wellingham battled, but no impact really against his old side. So Collingwood pushed to 14-7. They're in the 5 to 8 bracket, pushing up closer to 5. And West Coast, lowest score ever at the MCG after their lowest score ever at Subi. That's a tough 7 days. Down to you.